All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's special executive committee meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 9:38 a.m. And before we begin, we're going to territorial land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie First Nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. I'm now going to go into the roll call of attendance, and when I call on your position, please state your name, your pronouns, and if you have any access needs that are need to be met. So I will start with myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Helen. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met. Over to our VP Internal.
Hi, everyone. My name is Judith, she, her pronouns. All my access needs are met. Just as a heads up, however, I will need to head out around 1 p.m., but that's pretty much it. Hope we wrap up by then.
Okay, thank you, Judith. Over to our VP Finance.
Hey everyone, my name is Abby, he, him pronouns. In terms of access needs, I'll just be in mobile for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll be switching over to Zoom.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Our VP University is not here. Our VP External.
Hi everyone, my name is Ishana, she, her pronouns. All my access needs are met, and also I am calling in from the stolen and unceded lands of the Semiahmoo, Katzie, and Kwantlen First Nations.
All right, thank you, Ishana. Yep, that's all for executives for today. So let's go over to our society staff. Let's start off with our board organizer. It's in the chat here. I'll just read it out here for accessibility's sake. Ella wrote, "Hi folks, this is Ella, pronouns she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met this morning." Great, thank you, Ella. Over to our building manager.
Hi all, John here, pronouns he, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
Wonderful, thank you, John. And over to our operations organizer.
Hi folks, Aisha. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My access needs are met.
Thank you, Aisha. Our PRCA is not here. Let's go to our admin assistant.
Hello everyone, my name is Fanny. Pronouns are she, her. In terms of access needs, I'm having a few Wi-Fi issues, but that shouldn't really affect my engagement in the meeting. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Fanny, and noted. We don't have our temporary operations organizer noted in our agenda under society staff. So Fanny, just make sure to add or for the meeting minutes when we need to approve them later on. But I'd like to give some time for Sindhu, our temporary operations organizer, to do her intro. So Sindhu, you have the floor.
Great, thank you. Sindhu here, pronouns she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Wonderful, thank you. Awesome. Let's now move over to the consent. And so the consent agenda reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. We just have matters arising from the minutes, which was our meeting minutes from one of the last meetings. So I'm just going to go ahead and seek unanimous consent here. Seeking unanimous consent, if you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, the consent agenda is carried. We are now going to go over to the adoption of the agenda, and the motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. And may I have a mover for this motion?
VP Internal.
VP Internal moves, and someone to second?
VP External.
VP External seconds. Now, and I will go ahead and start listing myself. There are a few amendments that I would like to make to the agenda today, and I'm going to go ahead and start dropping them into the chat. So first things first, I do want to add a new section 6 to the agenda titled Ratification of Regrets. and a new motion 6.1 to accompany that, which will read, be it resolved to ratify the regrets of Nicole Kerrigan, VP University and Academic Affairs, for the Friday, August 19th, 2022 Special Executive Committee meeting. So that's one of them that I want to do. The second thing that I want to amend onto the agenda, actually there's gonna be two items under new business. So they will be the new, sorry, I'm just referring to my agenda here. They're gonna be the new 10.3 and new 10.4. 10.3 under new business, I'm going to add a motion that is titled Appointing Temporary Operations Organizer as Staff Liaison Officer. And the motion will read, give me a sec here. Okay, that should be good. The motion will read, whereas the operations organizer, Aisha Khan, is one of the Society's staff liaison officers, SLO, and is going on maternity leave, whereas the Society is in need of appointing another SLO who can assist the Society's president, who is an SLO, in tending to the needs and working conditions of the Society's unionized staff. Whereas the Society is in need of appointing another SLO with a firm understanding of the functionality of collective agreements and already holds respectful or respectable relationships with the Society's union, QP Locale 3338. Be it resolved to appoint Sindhu Dharmaraja as the Society's temporary operations organizer. The Society's temporary operations organizer, my apologies, as a SLO for the Simon Fraser Student Society. Be it further resolved that Sindhu's duties as SLO commence immediately after appointment. So that is going to be the new 10.3. And the new 10.4 will be a motion titled, sorry, I'm getting a call here. I'm just going to decline that. My apologies. The new 10.4 will be titled Signing Authority for Temporary Operations Organizer. And the motion will read, whereas all members of union excluded management have been given signing authority to the society as a means to help executives with signing authority expedite items needing signatures, whereas the temporary operations organizer has been hired to fill in for the duration of the operations organizer's maternity leave, be it resolved to approve full signing authority for the temporary operations organizer Sindhu Dharmaraja as a means to help the Society expedite any items that require signing authority. So those are all my amendments for today. Again, it's the new section 6 for the ratification of regrets, a new motion under new business that is 10.3, and a new motion under new business that will be 10.4. I am moving these and these.
VP External.
Okay, I heard VPX, so I will give that to VP External. I'm going to open the floor for discussion on these amendments. Seeing none, we'll take the amendment to. I'm going to seek unanimous consent here. Seeking unanimous consent, if you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. And seeing none, this amendment is carried. Okay, awesome. Other amendments here. I know Judith, you listed, so I'm going to give the floor over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to move to amend the agenda to add a new item under new business. The title of it is Hours of Work Survey Question Bank Approval. I'm going to drop the motion in the chat, but the motion will be reading, whereas the SFSS expanded operational hours for student union building sub on a trial basis, whereas the sub's operational hours impact both staff and students, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about the working hours related to staff, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about how often and regularly students use the sub, be it resolved that the SFSS executive approved the question bank curated for SFSS staff to inquire about working hours, be it resolved that the SFSS executive approved the question bank curated towards SFSS membership to inquire about the frequency of use of the sub. That's it.
Okay, great. And there's no other items? That's it? Judith, I'm asking you a question. That's it. Okay. So Judith is moving this amendment. I'll be happy to second it. I'm going to open on this amendment. Okay, seeing none, we'll take this amendment to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent here. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, this amendment is carried. I'm going to ask if there's any more. Close up discussion. Seeing none, I'm going to close discussion here and we'll take this to a vote. So the motion for the adoption of the agenda will now read, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. I'm going to seek unanimous consent here. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, the adoption of the agenda is carried as amended. Okay, great. We're now going to go straight over to new business. Item 10 point, oh, sorry, no, my apologies. We're going to go over to my amendment, which is the new section 6, which is titled Ratification of Regrets. The motion reads, be it resolved to ratify the regrets of Nicole Kerrigan, VP University and Academic Affairs, for the Friday, August 9th special executive committee meeting. I'll move this motion. Would anyone like to second it?
VP External.
VP External seconds. I'm going to open the floor for discussion on it. Seeing none, we'll take. I'm going to seek unanimous consent here. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, this motion is carried. Okay, now we're going to go over to new business. So looking at item 10.1, titled Professional Development Sessions for the SFSS Operations Organizer, Aisha Khan. The motion reads, whereas the operations organizer has requested formal project management training, whereas the operations organizer seeks to utilize professional development, whereas the course is 13 months long and costs 5,000 Canadian in total, whereas the operations organizer has not utilized professional development funds since their employment with the SFSS since starting in 2021, whereas these courses will better support the operations organizer in their position. Be it resolved that the operations organizer management training, be it further resolved that the operations organizer have the ability to continue these courses on their leave. Be it further resolved that the operations organizer report back to the executive committee on their professional development courses once they come back from their leave. Great, anyone care?
VP Internal?
VP Internal moves. I'll second it. I'm going to open the floor for discussion on it. Any discussion? Okay, I'm seeing none, so let's just take this to a vote then. I'm going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous, if you wish to dissent, please do so by using the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, this motion is carried. Okay. We're now going to go over to item 10.2. Am I cutting out? Hang on a sec. Ooh. Okay. I don't know if I might ask Abby to chair then, unless I'm more clear now. Can someone just tell me if I'm still clear or? Okay. Okay, so Abby, I'm gonna ask if you're able to chair. I'm clear on other people's ends, but for some people, okay, that's interesting. Okay.
You'll be on
Abby,
10.2,
can you please chair?
Yeah, sure. We're on 10.2, right?
Yep, we're on 10.2.
Okay. So we're on new business 10.2. It reads SFSS staff laptop purchases. This was submitted by Ishana, and it reads as follows. Whereas some of the SFSS staff work in hybrid schedules, whereas there is a need to purchase a number of laptops for staff working outside of the sub, whereas these laptops can be signed out by staff as needed, be it resolved to pass up to $5,000 to purchase laptops for the SFSS staff. Can I get a mover for that, please?
VP external.
PPX moves. Can I get a seconder, please? Okay.
VP internal.
VP internal seconds. Great. Is there any discussion on this? Aisha, please go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to give a heads up that although this is on the agenda for $5,000, because that's the max that executive can approve, I think the likelihood of a second request potentially needing to go to council for a higher amount may come up down the pipeline. So I just wanted to let everyone know of that. It just depends on staff needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Aisha. I'll just respond to that briefly. Like, yeah, that would have to go to council because we would be going over $5,000. But yeah, cool. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to say? If not, then I think we can take it to a vote, and given that there's no contention, to seek unanimous consent. So if you dissent to purchasing the up to $5,000 worth of laptops, please use the Zoom raise hand function, and we'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes unanimously. We'll move on to the next new business item, which is appointing temporary operations organizer as staff liaison officer, also known as SLO. And it reads as follows. Whereas the operations organizer, Aisha Khan, is one of the society's staff liaison officers, SLO, is going on maternity leave. Whereas the society is in need of appointing another SLO who can assist the society's president in tending to the needs of and working conditions of the society's unionized staff. Whereas the society is in need of appointing another SLO with a firm understanding of the functionality of the collective agreements and already holds respectable relations with the society's union, QP Locale 3338, pardon me. Be it resolved to appoint Sindhu Dharmaraja, sorry if I botched that, the society's temporary operations organizer as the SLO for the Simon Fraser Student Society. Be it further resolved that Sindhu's duties as SLO commence immediately after appointment. Can I get a mover for that, please?
VP external.
VP external moves. Judith, can I take you as a seconder?
Sure.
Thanks. Any discussion on this? Sorry, Helen, I didn't see that in the chat. I'll get you for the next one. No discussion at all? Okay, then. I guess we can take this to a vote. Seeking unanimous consent. If you dissent, please use the raise hand function in Zoom, and I'll call on you for your vote. Okay, cool. That passes unanimously. Moving on to 10.4. Signing authority for temporary operations organizer. Was submitted by Helen. Sorry, the previous one was also submitted by Helen. Should have mentioned that. And it reads as follows. Whereas all members of union excluded management have been given signing authority to the society as a means to help executives with signing authority expedite items needing signatures. Whereas the temporary operations organizer has been hired to fill for the duration of the operations organizer's maternity leave. Be it resolved to approve full signing authority for the temporary operations organizer, Sindhu Dharmaraja, as a means to help the society expedite any items that require signing authority. I think, Helen, would you like to move that? Yes, Helen will move that, and since I haven't gotten involved yet, I'll second that. Is there any discussion on this? This might be the fastest we've gone through like 4 motions ever. Given that there's no discussion, I'll seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand feature on Zoom. There we go. That passes unanimously. Sorry, Fanny. Touch wood. I got wood in my office. All right, new business 10.5. Hours of work survey question bank approval. This is submitted by Judith. Whereas SFSS expanded operational hours for the student union building on a trial basis, whereas the sub's operational hours impact both staff and students, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about the working hours related to the SFSS staff, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about how often and regularly students use the sub, be it resolved that the SFSS executive approved the question bank curated to SFSS staff to inquire about working hours. Be it further resolved that the SFSS executive approved the question bank curated towards the SFSS membership to inquire about the frequency of use of the sub. And I'll just throw in the chat, Judith mentioned that the question bank is in our emails forwarded by Aisha as an FYI. Can I get a mover for that?
VP internal.
VP internal, can I get a seconder? Me, okay, that's VP finance. Any discussion on this? Aisha, please go ahead.
It was my understanding that this, once approved here, that it would need to go to council for final approval as well, just to give them an idea of what the question bank looks like and to give consultation to other folks to see that we're collating like the right kind of information. Essentially, the purpose of this LOA is so we can create a case when we go back to the table in April for expanding, for at least keeping this operating hours, if not adding to them and expanding even further into a 24-hour model. So we need to make sure that the questions that are being asked are in a way that's going to, support our case for expansion, or at least maintaining what we currently have.
Thank you for that context, Aisha. Did anyone else want to say anything on this? Judith, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna move to amend the motion to add a third be it resolved clause that would be further resolved that, I'm gonna just type it out. Is that fine? I think Fanny will need the language anyway. Be it further resolved that the SFSS executive will forward the question banks to council for final approval for the August 31st meeting. We have a meeting on the August 31st, right?
Yes.
Good. There. In camera at council, please. The discussion on it, Aisha, just a clarification.
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, Judith has moved an amendment to the motion. Can I get a seconder to that, please? VP Finance. Okay, I'll second it. Helen, are you listing for the discussion on the amendment or discussion for the general motion?
Can I just jump in? Am I clear? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm still gonna let Abby chair because again, I don't know if I'm gonna cut out at some point again. I don't know. I think this is for both. It's for both the amendment and the general motion. I was just gonna point it out that we do have a special council meeting next week, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the 31st. It can be next week as well.
Thank you, Helen. I'm gonna list myself. I see it. We do have a chunk of stuff already for the 31st, but obviously because it is an emergency council meeting, we're really skipping the reports and all that, I would assume. I haven't seen the agenda yet, but yeah, I'm not sure. What do executives and others feel? Do we think this is fairly urgent, right? So perhaps bringing it to the emergency council meeting would be appropriate, but the 31st is not that far away either. So what are people's feelings on that? Just going to read aloud what Shauna said. I'm good with bringing it to the emergency council meeting. Helen said the agenda is still being built. Oh, Judah, I missed your list. Please, sorry, go ahead.
I think it's better for the 31st because it actually gives council to have a look over it. I don't think it's fair for them to drop it on them for the 24th, given that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days left for them to review it. And of those, 2 of them are weekend. And council has been pretty burned out lately with all the information being sent to them. So like, I don't think it's reasonable for us to expect them to review it by the 24th and actually give substantial opinion and actually ask their DSUs. Because one of the question banks is going towards students, not just staff. I don't know how much input they would have on the staff one, but I do think they would have input on the student one. So I think we should give them at least some chance to actually review the questions before it's disseminated, so they can actually have a proper idea as to what to do with that and where to send it, but that's just my take.
That's a good point, Judith. John, please go ahead.
I just have a question just to better understand the process of this. So the email or the survey that's going out to staff, is that a survey that's going out to staff from the Student Society, or is it a survey that's going out to staff from CUPE? Like, as in, who's actually sending the survey out? Because I guess they're the people that would have say on the questions then.
Thank you, John. Aisha, not to put you on the spot, would you have the answers to that?
I do. So the survey is joint. Part of the hours of work LOA agreement was that the employer and the union get to jointly create both surveys, both for staff and for the sub-tenant stakeholder / membership questionnaire. So we have a say for both. And in regards to who's sending it out, that's still TBA or TBD, I should say, because CUPE, there are benefits to either way. If CUPE wants to send it out, they have a more robust system of making sure everything is confidential and things like that. But we would not have direct access to the collated data. If we do it, we do have access to the data. Regardless, the data will be shared with us in the end anyway. So it just depends on which way we want to go.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak on this? You can list in the chat. I don't see anything, so hold on, I just want to make sure you have the full motion. So full motion will be as follows. Just going to copy paste, give me 1 second, eh? And oh, kind of botched it, but yeah, that's the full motion right there. Let me just separate the last bit for the result clause so you can see it a little easier. There we are. So ask her, whatever, accessibility, let me read it out. Hours of work survey question bank approval, whereas the SFSS has expanded operational hours for the student union building on a trial basis, whereas the student union building's operational hours impact both students and staff, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about the working hours related to the SFSS staff, whereas questions have been curated to inquire about how often and regularly students use the sub. Be resolved, the SFSS executive approved the question bank curated for SFSS staff to inquire about working hours. Be it further resolved that SFSS executive approved the question bank curated towards the SFSS membership to inquire about the frequency of use of sub. Be it further resolved that SFSS executive will forward the question banks to council for final approval for the August 31st meeting. I will seek unanimous consent on this. If you wish to dissent, you can use the Zoom raise hand feature. Actually, sorry, we did vote on the amendment, yes. Or did I miss that?
Amendment first, yeah.
Pardon me, sorry. And I seconded the amendment. So we were voting on the amendment, pardon me. So this is just for the amendment. Be it further resolved, the SFSS executive will forward the question banks to council for final approval at the August 31st meeting. If anyone dissents to that, please use the Zoom raise hand function, and I'll call on you for your vote. Okay, so the amendment passes, and the big motion I read there is the amended motion. So if you have anything else you want to say about the now amended motion, you can list in the chat. I'll give you guys like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we'll be voting on that amended motion that I just read out loud about 30 seconds ago. I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the Zoom raise hand feature on use the raise hand feature on Zoom, sorry, and I'll call on you for your vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. I think that's it for new business. We're gonna be moving on to discussion items. Yeah, that's it. So 11.1, purchasing cart. This was submitted by Ishana. If you want to go ahead, Ishana.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with one of the DNA staff, I think, and then I'm planning a meeting with them. And then one of the questions which was asked was, oh, how can we make this meeting more accessible? So then we started talking about this this website called CART. I can put it in the chat. So it's basically like real time. I'll put that in 1 sec. Let me just, I had notes. I don't know where they went. Oh, they're right here. Yeah. So it's basically, they provide like captioning for Zoom with stream text. And they have like different rates and things like that. I know that DNA currently purchases it. And I know that we've had conversations about making our meetings more accessible. So I was wondering if folks wanted to like take time over like the next week, look over this website. I can also put in more details. So basically, they have like a prep fee and stuff, and bookings can be made 2 weeks in advance of meetings. And then we can talk to them about details and things like that. It's just because I know that Zoom sometimes doesn't do the best for like live transcripts and things like that. So maybe this would make it easier for accessibility for folks. But I don't know if other folks have questions on it or if they want to say anything.
Thank you, Ishana. Judith, please go ahead.
I think that's a good idea, especially if it works well, because as somebody who has a very clear accent, I do sometimes see Zoom transcripts, and it is an experience to read the parts when I speak. So I can only imagine what it's like in real time. I did want to ask, is there anything on the website, because I just pulled it up, that specifically speaks to how this interacts with people's accents and how loudly or quietly you speak? Because that also impacts as to how the transcript, at least on Zoom, picks it up. But yeah.
Very good question, Judith. Let's see if Ishana has an answer to that. Please go ahead.
So Judith, I don't have a full answer to that, but I can totally email them asking that question. So I can write that down for myself and then get back to you.
Thank you, Ishana. I'm going to follow that up with that and see if there's any way we can get, like, without having to commit, if we can get like a week or 2 week trial or something like that for us to try it out. That'd be great. Again, that's also the cheapskate in me, not wanting to use that free trial and milk it for all it's worth. But if there's anything like that, that'd be awesome. Ishana, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So I can send an email with whatever questions that you folks have. Helen, I can totally CC you on that so you know what's going on as well. And then maybe I can put this as another discussion item for another executive meeting once I have an answer.
That sounds like a plan. Thank you very much, Ishana. Is there any other discussion on this? No. Okay. I think we're going to move on to item 12, which is going in camera. So the motion reads, be it resolved to go in camera for the remainder of the meeting. Can I get a mover, please? Okay, I'll move. Can I get a seconder?
VP Internal?
Thank you, VP Internal. Any discussion on going in camera? If not, I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the Zoom raise hand feature, and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, this motion passes. And we'll head in camera. All right, everyone, welcome back to the main room. I am going to move to go X camera. Can I get a seconder for that, please?
VP Internal.
VP Internal seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you do not wish to go X camera, please use the raise hand feature on Zoom and I will record your vote. Seeing none, this passes. We are moving on to adjournment. Be it resolved to adjourn this meeting at 10:33 a.m. I'm going to move that. Can I get a seconder?
VP Events.
VP Events seconds. Is there any discussion? Does anyone really just not want to adjourn? Does anyone want to just stay here for fun for a while? Fanny, please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask for the next executive meeting, because following the 2-week schedule, there should be another executive meeting next week, but since we have one today as an emergency, I just wanted to make sure that, yeah.
That's a good question. Does anyone have Helen, would you have an answer to that by any chance? Does anyone have a?
Cutting out? Am I cutting out? Can you
You're
hear
fine.
me?
You're fine.
Okay. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna say that, you know what? Executives this. I was gonna say that we should have one just to follow the schedule's sake, but if executives want a break, we can have a break, but I want to open it up to everyone here. Judith, Abby, Viba, Ishana,
I think so, yeah.
want
This is the vacation time going on after classes, so I think so we could have a break, possibly.
Okay, so V
Let's
wants
go.
a break. Ishana, you have a direct response.
I'm still chair, Helen.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to this. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. I'm on the list myself, so I'll go. Honestly, yeah, I think we could use a break. I know the previous executives usually took a break at some point. I know in the winter they certainly did, so I don't think it'll hurt. Judith, go ahead.
I don't really have a preference. I do want to flag it though that I will be unavailable from Friday till Monday next week anyway, so it's up to you. But I really hope you won't need me for quorum because I simply will not have Wi-Fi. So it's up to you. I am partial to respecting the admin timeline and just giving them the 2 weeks. That's my personal preference, but that's just my take.
Okay, thank you, Judith. Ishana, go ahead.
I think it would be nice to have a break too, but obviously up to folks and what's easier for admin as well.
Okay, Helen, go ahead.
Okay, so just based on hearing that, we're not going to have an executive committee meeting next week. Let's just have a break. So the next one would be scheduled for September 9th, but I think that might be too much time and we might have a backlog of items piling up if we leave it for that long. So just so everyone knows, I'm going to move the executive committee meeting to, I guess, 2 weeks from now, which is going to be September 2nd, Friday, September 2nd. Actually, wait, is there any holidays going on at that time?
The Monday.
September 2nd.
If you're talking about September 2nd, the Monday is a holiday.
Okay. Okay. Well, if folks are fine with it, I'll just move the next meeting to September 2nd since it's not a holiday.
Okay, thank you, Helen.
Okay, awesome.
Does anyone have any, if anyone's vehemently against that, I can throw that in the chat, but looks like everyone's on board for now. Okay, cool. We're gonna go back to adjourning then. I think we had a mover. Do we have a seconder for that? We get a seconder for adjourning?
I think so because the speakers list was open and Fanny listed.
Yes, cool. Thank you. Any other discussion about adjourning specifically? Okay, I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If anyone wishes to dissent, please use the Zoom raise hand feature and I'll call on you for your vote. All right, with no one dissenting, we are adjourned at 10:38 a.m.